I hope you're doing great. How has your weekend been? Have you been slaying it? Have you been studying hard? I hope you have. I hope you've been doing your best to get the PMBOK guide under control. You see this beast right here? It needs to be tamed. And the way to tame the beast is by loading up on ammo, loading up on knowledge ammo, going deep into the guide, understanding what exactly it's all about. Now, this could be for some people a rather tough feat to pull off. When you look at the book, I mean, take a good look at this thing. Take a good look at its mugshot. Does that look like tame to you? Does that look tame? It's all over the place. It's wild. It's beastly. And that's why I have put together a 16-hour curriculum. A 16-hour curriculum, not to school you through the namby-pamby basics that you know. You know about the 5 process groups, you know about the 10 knowledge areas, you even know the names of the 49 processes. Maybe you can even chart out page 25. What did that do for you on your last attempt? Those people who have been through the fire, they know that it's not enough to know page 25. It's not enough to cram tools and techniques. No, you have to break them down. You have to break them apart. And that's exactly what we do in this curriculum that I would like to speak to you about. It's called the PMP Exam Power Review. Now, the Power Review came about way back in 2012, I believe it was. I had a student, and she knows who she is, but I'm not gonna call her name out. But this student called me the day before her PMP exam and said, Phil, I don't know anything. I'm going to fail. And by the way, this was her second attempt. She actually came in contact with Praizion because she failed the first time. And the company, hey, watch this, watch this. The company who trained her said, at this point, your only hope is Phil. I'm talking about a well-known education provider for the PMP exam. They referred her to Phil. They said, you're a problem case. There's nothing we can do with you. Hey, you need to go to this guy called Phil. He eats, drinks, lives, regurgitates the PMBOK guy. He's a maniac. Hey, if he can't help you, no one can. So they sent her my way, and I'm grateful to them for doing that. But at the end of the day before her exam, she's calling me and saying, Phil, I know nothing. I don't feel confident. Like, what do you mean by you don't feel confident? You're meant to have studied. You're meant to have taken the mock exam. You're meant to have done all these things. And she's like, Phil, I haven't read this book called The PMBOK Guide. I'm like, you haven't read it? Why on earth didn't you read the PMBOK Guide? I mean, I told you weeks ago that you needed to do that. And she's like, well, my job is tedious. You know, all the excuses people give you for not digging into the guide. Anyway, long story short, I said, the only thing we can do right now, and by the way, I was getting ready to jump on a plane to go international travel. I said, the only thing we can do right now is dig into every single one of these tools and techniques. Every single one. I mean, let's just go through the entire PMBOK guide. And she's like, how are we going to do that? I mean, it's already 10 p.m. Eastern. And I said, look, that's your business. I have to do my job. And my job is to get you to be a PMP by any way possible, any legal means possible. So let's begin to dig into every single input, every single tool and technique. Let's eat this thing raw. Long story short, we end up going to 3 hours, folks. This is Phil the day before his international travel, going to Home Depot to buy 1 or 2 gadgets that he needs. And here's my friend, PMP to be, calling me saying I need help. Anyway, I stay on the phone, I put my headphones on, and I begin to walk this student through every single input in alphabetical order. Every single tool and technique in alphabetical order. Without the PMBOK guide, hey, I don't need to have the guide in front of me. I've done my homework. Have you done yours? Have you spent sleepless nights trying to break this thing apart? I have. I got certified in 2005. And ever since I got certified, ever since my pact, my promise that if I could come out of the sick exam alive, ever since my pact or my promise, after I said my last prayers, for those of you who know the story, ever since then, I've been cracking open the guide. I've been trying to dissect what my learned, esteemed colleagues have put together in the guide. And since I got certified, the very next edition, the fourth edition, because the third was already out, I got certified on the second edition, but there were two editions out at the same time, similar to what happened earlier this year. So as soon as I got certified, the next edition, the fourth edition, I said, I have some ideas. I want to be part of this. I want to make sure I put in my 2 cents. So I signed up, downloaded the preview of the guide, and sent in my 2 cents. So I was a final reviewer and contributor to the fourth edition, the fifth edition, and boom, this one. However, for this one, I feel I could have done a whole lot more as far as give more of my 2 cents. I gave a lot of my 2 cents, but not enough. I mean, it's a beast of a book. And at that time, I was on the road and doing lots of travel. So while I put my 2 cents in, there's a lot of stuff that I'm beginning to see, hey, that's an error. That's an error. This, but hey, you never get it totally picture perfect. And I doff my hat to those folks who put time and effort into the guide. Our esteemed colleagues, we got hundreds of people that have worked on the guide. So hey, pay respect to the guide, okay? Pay respect that lots of your colleagues have spent time and energy and sweat and effort, put in a lot of time and attention into the guide. My buddy, the risk doctor, and I've spoken about the risk doctor, you've seen his video on here. He was the vice chair for the sixth edition, and he put concentrated efforts into the 11th chapter, into the risk chapter. I mean, he's the risk doctor. Which other chapter would he put lots of effort into? So he put lots of effort. It's a great job. It's really elevated the risk chapter. And that, hey, I'm biased. I'm an RMP. So it's one of my favorite chapters. RMP is a risk management professional certification from the PMI. Anyway, long story short, this student keeps me on the phone for 3 hours. At the end of the 3 hours, I said, look, if you're not ready now, you'll never be ready. You better tell me you feel better. Hey, all of the earned value, all of the SPIs and the CPIs and the CVs, the SVs, the TCPIs, the crazy four, hey, those crazy four EACs that keep people awake at night, all of that stuff, every single bit of it, we covered from start to finish. I'm talking about every single formula, every single one. Can you imagine doing that on the phone? Can you imagine having to walk someone through all of those bits and pieces on the phone? Can you imagine that? Every single bit and piece of the four beastly EACs, walking her through that stuff on the phone. Every single bit of it, every single piece. You know, BAC divided by CPI, AC plus what do you call it? EAC minus BAC minus EV. All of those formulas that keep your head spinning. We went through every single one of the formulas, and I said, look, if you're not going to pass the exam now, you're not going to pass it. You have to. Hey, I've put my time and effort unpaid into this. You better get it done. And with that, we hung up the phone. She goes to do whatever she did, study, regurgitate some of the things I told her. But anyway, I'm now driving to the airport, to Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. And just as I hit the 202, just as I negotiated that turn, I'll never forget, the phone started ringing. And I pick up the phone. Who's this? It's C, to hide her real name. I passed! And she's shrieking on the phone. I'm like, thank goodness you did, because I would have held you accountable. I would have told you to become a PMP trainer with me forever if you didn't pass the exam when you finally did. So anyway, at the end of the day, she passes the exam and she is student one that went through the PMP exam power review. And my goodness, what a power review it was. Every single tool, every single technique, every input, every output, the formulas, those needed, those unneeded, the TCPIs, the IRR, the everything, the NPVs, the BCRs, what have you, whatever the horrible acronyms are. We went through every single thing and she passed the exam good. After that episode, I said, you know what? We have to do this again because there are many students who would feel I'm being like a lamb led to the slaughter. I am going to just fail completely. There's no way out. But I thought, what if I could help every student rapidly go through the tools, rapidly go through the techniques, and I mean breaking them apart, but doing it rapidly, compressed. I dare say, you see, this is a 16-hour curriculum, 15 hours of training, 1 hour of a mock exam at the end. I dare say if you take this curriculum and you gave it to lots of trainers out there, lots of them would probably break this apart into a 35-hour curriculum. But I know how you guys are. You know how you are, project managers. You get it. I know you get it. Most of the PMs I've worked with, you tell them what it is in clear terms. They get it. I've had so many people on YouTube saying, Phil, your videos, they help me. I watched one video and it cleared hours of confusion. I don't know if you're one of those folks, but I've had a lot of them on YouTube say, Phil, I heard it and I got it. And the reason why a lot of students don't get it is because the trainer hasn't done enough work on the back end, making it easy so that it can be shared just like that. And that's a lot of the work and effort I put in. Anytime I deliver training, I'm thinking, how can I make it simple? How can I make it easy? How can I make it simple as that so that 1 minute has cleared hours of confusion? You see, that's exactly what I do in this curriculum. You see, the curriculum is at the link that you see below. Yeah, right below there, leadershipstreet.com. No, not Leadership Street, leadershipavenue.com. So I own both domains, but I kind of get them. Obviously, they're both leadership. But leadershipavenue.com, that is where you want to go. All right, leadershipavenue.com will take you straight to where you can sign up for this 16-hour curriculum. Now, let me break down how the curriculum is, because I'm sure some people have questions about how is it broken out, how is it set up. So the first part of the curriculum has got part one, which is the tools and techniques. In fact, let's take a look. Hey, are you a good soldier of the PMBOK guide? Have you got yours? Have you got your weaponry? If you don't have a physical copy of this, I want to encourage you to, hey, take a look at mine. Take a look at that. Do you see how I mark up my PMBOK guide? That's the way you need to do it. That's the way you need to do it. Hey, I saw a chat from one of my friends, Santosh. Thank you very much for asking the question. And the question is, overnight? Yeah, believe it. I'm talking about 7 p.m. Arizona time, roughly 6:55-ish is when I get this phone call. And we go through the entire thing, you know, everything in the PMBOK guide. So you may as well say overnight. I mean, I got done. I remember getting back to the house at about 9-ish, maybe 9:21, 9:30, and we still kept going for a bit, on all of the stuff. So it was very rapid, very, very rapid. I'm talking about roughly 2.5, 3 hours. But we covered every single tool, technique, input, output. For those of you who've been following the channel, you know that I've got this thing for the 5th edition called the PMP Cram List. So the PMP Cram List has all of the inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs in alphabetical order. So, I mean, just being able to pull that up on your phone anytime, anywhere, helps you know, have I covered this, have I not? And that's pretty much what we use. So we went through the checklist. At that time, I believe that was the 4th edition. So we did that for the 4th edition. And then when the 5th edition came out, that's when I launched the Power Review. It was on DVD. It was also downloadable. But now we've got more content. I mean, then it was 3.5, 4 hours of content for the 5th edition. This one, get this. So part 1, like I said, is all the tools and techniques. And I was about asking you to open your book. Open your PMBOK guide to page 686. You see all this stuff here? You see these tables? You gotta love these, folks. That is your grouped tools and techniques. If you haven't taken a deep dive into your grouped tools and techniques, you should. You should. What do you think, Minion? Should they? What do you think? You think they should? Oh, I think he agrees. Okay. Minion said, check out page 686. Check out the grouped tools and techniques. The group tools and techniques, things like data gathering, data analysis tools and techniques, data analysis tools and techniques on another page there again on 688. Page 689, data representation tools and techniques, decision-making tools and techniques, communication skills tools and techniques. My goodness, what a bunch of groupings here. And interpersonal and team skills tools and techniques. Don't these tools and techniques ever end? Goodness, page 691 goes into ungrouped. There are too many of these tools and techniques. And that's why I decided to help people out by spending 4 hours going through those pages that I just read out. Every single tool and technique, grouped or ungrouped. I cover them in this curriculum in part 1 for 4 hours. We're not talking process. We're not talking knowledge area. We're not talking process group. We're talking about grouped and ungrouped tools and techniques. What have the PMI made us? We've become researchers of the PMBOK guide. You gotta open 686 and feverishly take notes. Oh, that's a grouped tool and technique that is known as brainstorming, and that's one that is known as reserve analysis. They've made us researchers of the guide. That's the level you need to get to, folks. If you're taking the PMP exam, you got to become a junkie for this stuff. You got to line it up and sniff it up, whether you like it or not. I'm serious. You got to be a junkie. You got to make your lines. Make your lines of data analysis tools and techniques. Sniff the thing up. Make your lines of data representation tools and techniques. And let out and go for another dose. Go for your interpersonal skills, tools, and techniques. And the night hasn't even started because you haven't even gotten to the grouped tools and techniques. You see, that's the level of persistence, doggedness, ruggedness that you guys need to get to. You got to savor it. You got to relish it. You got to like it. You got to look at this thing. Now, I know not all of you go on a sugar binge, but some of you do. You love ice cream. Lick up the ice cream. Let's use something safer and saner. Lick the ice cream all up. Hey, that whole big tub of whatever you call the brand you like, the BJ brand or whatever brand you like, lick the thing up. That's how you need to attack the PMBOK guide. You got to love it. You got to say, bring it on. What have you got? Cost of quality. Who are you? What you got? What have you got for me? Let me do a deal with you. Give me the cargo. I'll give you the money. You got to do deals with this stuff. You got to look at them as personas. So part 1 is nothing but the tools and techniques. Part 2 is now getting into the inputs and outputs. Chat into me. Are you a student, a researcher of this thing called the PMBOK Guide 6th edition? Or are you just passing through for a short-term stay? Are you in it for the long haul? Chat into me. Let me know you're in it for the long haul because I'm going to drop some more gold for you. If you are in it for the long haul, can you tell me one of the most important pages as far as inputs and outputs are concerned? Please answer, because if you don't, He's going to have to sing again. I don't want to hear him sing. I'm sorry, I don't want to hear you sing right now. Hurry up. Is anyone going to help me out? Oh dear, no one's helping me. He's going to sing. Oh, dear. Okay, Minion. All right. Oh, I told you. I like that bit at the end where he kind of like asks a question, a funny question in his funny language. But Minion, thank you very much. He told me it's page 89. Let's go to page 89, folks. It seems like I don't have any researchers of the PMBOK guide watching right now. And that's why no one chatted in. And the Minion, it took a Minion to tell me page 89. Go to page 89, folks. Take a look at that. What do you see? All of those components of the project management plan and the project documents. A ton. Hey, let's count them. Let's add up the numbers. 13 plus 18, 51. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. 51 items that are grouped as either parts of the project management plan or parts of project documents. 51. How many minutes do you truthfully think it will take you to master those items, each of those items? Let's go one at a time. So take a look at scope management plan. If you are estimating anything under 5 minutes, it means that you are good. It means you're superb. Because do you know that after you hear stuff, roughly 70% or more is going to dissipate out of your head by the next day? So you really have to spend time letting it marinate, letting it sink in, which means time has to be spent. So if you look at those 51 items and you multiply each one by, let's even say you've got that perfect memory, you've got a photographic memory. Let's say you spend 2 minutes. That's 100 minutes on those 51 items. One page, page 89 on its own, making sure that you comb through all the information could take you 100 minutes. If not, multiply it by 5. What do you get? 250 or 255, is it? Oh, those of you that, or 65, is it 265? Whatever it is, 255, 265, you're getting to the point where you are spending going on 4 hours. And that is exactly what the second part of the 4 hours is. It's a dive into every single input and every single output. Now, there's overlap. Outputs become inputs. So we spend some good time covering every single one of those page 89 items and then some in alphabetical order. The advantage of doing stuff in alphabetical order? If you go through every input in alphabetical order, you're not following process group and you're not following knowledge area. You're doing them at random. And if you go through every output in that fashion and just say, all right, here's a boatload of things that are either inputs or outputs, and let's go through them alphabetically, you are going to be very rapidly changing focus from schedule to cost to risk to quality very rapidly. That is going to help you on the exam because your exam is not based on let's go through all the knowledge areas here, all the things in initiating, and then let's jump into all the things in planning. That's not how it is. It's at random. It is not a linear exam, and that's why you could be dunked into Maslow. The next minute you're being dunked into Ishikawa. The next minute you're being dunked into TCPI and the manic EACs. And then when you're done with that, you're thrown into a stakeholder cube. And then you're thrown into, I don't know, but PESTLE or VUCA or one of those new risk management terms that we used to get a handle on our risk. It's crazy. The exam knows no rhyme or reason. My exam, the first 60 minutes was horrendous. I spent 1 hour on 20 questions. 20 questions. If I answered all the questions at that rate, how many questions would Phil have answered in total at the end? 80. Phil would have failed. Phil may not have been here speaking to you because I sure didn't have that much money to waste And that's why when I got out of the exam, I got passionate about this stuff. And I said, I need to help people. I need to train them. I need to coach them so they don't make the same mistake I made. Phil made a huge mistake. And the huge mistake was not getting a mentor and a coach who could walk him through. But hey, Phil was cash strapped. If you had told me to spend $199 to get a mentor and coach who knew the ins and outs, who had trained thousands of people, who had written books, who had trained the likes of NASA and the FBI and the US Army and the Air Force, if I had a trainer and a coach like that, if I could watch their material and learn from them for 199 measly bucks, I tell you, I would have signed up right away. Unfortunately, back then it cost thousands of dollars. I didn't have the money. So anyway, I didn't have the smart training. I was not smart in my approach. I put all my eggs in one basket. And when I got into the exam, yep, it wasn't pretty. But the good news, I thought on my feet. I had a little bit of a plan, and I ended up taking the exam in reverse. Anyway, those of you who have listened to the story on the channel, you know how I ended up getting out alive. Got out alive, and I promised to help people. And this is one of the ways I'm trying to help folks. This course should be $199, but if you sign up right now, you'll see that it is a whole lot less. $50 less, $149, $149.99 to be precise. For those of you who are sticklers for the cents, I don't blame you. Hey, we don't have money to burn. We're good PMs. We want to get full value of what we paid for. All right, so it's $149.99. Okay, so part one, the tools and techniques. Part two, every single input and output. Part three, you're going to love this. Your friendly neighborhood processes, the 49 on page 25. But we dig into every single process, taking a look at the inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs, and asking the question, which of these is a big ticket item for my $555? You know what I'm talking about. Which of these is an item that I need to hone in on, most likely for my PMP exam? That is part three. And we take you through 6 of the knowledge areas in part three and 3 of the knowledge areas in part four. And we have an intermission somewhere in the middle where we look at all of the inputs and outputs at a macro level in a separate video. So I give you a macro level view of the inputs and outputs. I give you a micro level view of the inputs and outputs. I give you a micro level view of the tools and techniques. And I give you a lot of gold. In fact, I call it the gold zone, where we go into every single process and what you can expect on the exam and what you should hone in on. 16 hours, no fluff, no bluff, no nonsense, cutting to the chase, getting into the heart of the beast, getting it under control for you. The cool thing about this curriculum is if you truly mean business, you can take 1 hour a day for 2 weeks to go deeper into the guide, folks. It's not about reading the guide on the surface. It's about knowing the detail. The other cool thing is at the end of the curriculum, you get a 1 hour no nonsense mock exam on top of that. And this mock exam is priceless. Trust me, if you can pass that mock exam, you truly know the content well, because the mock exam itself will also give you a run for your money. Also in the curriculum, I go through lots of questions. So as we hit a process, we could look at a question. For example, the questions on the develop project charter process. It will amaze you how much you do or do not know about developing a charter. I gave my class yesterday a question on develop project charter, and everyone got it wrong because it takes an expert eye to dig into the details in the book. It's a beastly book, folks. It's beastly. It's huge. It's massive. But anyway, that is my 2 cents. Go to leadershipavenue.com. Sign up for the course. It will take you straight to Vimeo. And then throughout the course, when we hit the ITTOs, I give you a link within the video to download the ITTO catalog, which is a catalog for you to catalog all the stuff I'm talking about, all of the tools and techniques and all of the inputs and outputs. This will give you a run for your time. I guarantee you, you're going to be hitting the pause button a few times a minute to take notes and to reference. You see, it's not so much about me telling you stuff. It's more about me leading you through the treacherous terrain of the PMP exam. It's a treacherous terrain that needs expert guidance to do well in. All right? So I've made it affordable. If you went out to a restaurant and you took 4 of your buddies, you'd probably blow more money than that. $149.99. Think about it. Think about it. Your PMP exam is $555. At a minimum, wouldn't it make sense to jump on a curriculum that can help you master the beast on which the exam is based? Wouldn't it make sense? It's a huge test. It's a huge test. And that's why yesterday I went through some information with people who were on our live stream yesterday evening. And I basically went through something I call the 2x rule. I'm not sure if you guys were on it, but the 2x rule for the PMP exam is pretty much this. There's a lot of stuff, if you look at the screen, coming from just 3 areas. Just 3 areas. You see? Take a look at initiating 2 processes. What is the weighting of that on the exam? 13%. That's huge. 13% can sink your ship, man. It can sink your ship right down to the bottom. Executing 10 processes, but 31% of the exam. My goodness. So let's do the analysis. Initiating each process, 6.5%. Executing each process, 3.1%. That's murderous, folks. And then you've got closing. 1 process eating up 7%. 1 process. 1. Doesn't that scare you? If that doesn't scare you, I honestly don't know what will. That's scary. There's a lot of concentration around executing. And if you put initiating into the mix, it's low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit, folks. These are some of the secrets that I share throughout. You take a look at closing. Low-hanging fruit, 7%. That is huge. 7% of your exam comes from 1 process. So I call this the 2x rule because you're getting double for your trouble. You're putting in studying of 13 processes, you see, but you're getting double what it should be because there are 49 processes, right? 13 processes out of the 49 is really just 26%. 13 out of 49 is roughly 26. So you would have imagined, 13 processes will give me 26% of the exam. But no, 13 processes give you 51% of the exam, which is almost twice the number that it should be. It should be 26, but it's 51, thereabouts. So I call it the 2x rule. These are some of the things I tell you. I drop gold all throughout to help my students. So, folks, that's what's up. That's where it's all at. You need to go to leadershipavenue.com. leadershipavenue.com. And I'm talking about a course that is going to take you to the next level. You need to get up from where you are. Too many people being lazy. Hey, let me tell you the honest truth. You know why a lot of people don't sign up for training? They don't sign up for training because they don't trust themselves to use all the resources. And they know that if they sign up, they need to commit to using the resources. So I want to challenge you. Are you in it for the long haul? Are you going to commit to taking this beast and making it yours. You be the master of the guide, but you have to put in time. You have to put in effort. You have to put in energy. You have to go with someone who is passionate about the thing. Too many people are, Humpty Dumpty. I don't know. What do I call them? I typically call them namby-pamby trainers because they're not aggressive. You got to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive with something like this. You don't want someone who's going to pretty it up. Who's going to be namby-pamby? Oh, well, you can study today if you like. You don't have to. You can study tomorrow. No, I'll tell you like it. I'll tell it like it is to you. That's one thing you can trust your buddy Phil for. He's not going to mince words. I tell it to you like it is. A lot of people try to pretty it up. They're being all cute. That's not my style. If you're not pulling your weight, you're going to hear it from me. If you want the honest truth about your preparedness, all I need to do is take a look at that 1 hour mock exam at the end. And I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you, hey, you're ready to go or you're not. Or you need more work. Hey, maybe you need to sign up for a full-blown 35-hour course. I will not hesitate to tell you, but I ain't a cute trainer. I'm violent, I'm aggressive on the guide, not on you. But I'm violent when it comes to taking this book and being the master of it. You gotta be, folks. The exam will be aggressive to you. Do you know how many students I have heard from? One of my students in Virginia, he said, Phil, I would have passed this exam 7 years ago if my instructor didn't lie to me. If my instructor didn't lie to me and tell me, oh, it's not that difficult, or oh, you don't have to be so aggressive about your studying. Yes, you do. $555 is just the tip of the iceberg. Let's talk about your time spent studying. Some of you spend 100 hours studying. Don't you think it would make sense to ensure you're studying by backing it up with a sensible system? If you spend 100 hours studying for the PMP exam, and let's say you even pay yourself $30 an hour, do you see how much money you are throwing away, sitting down, spending time and time and time reading, taking the exam, failing the exam, taking the exam? No, that's why you got to be aggressive. That's why you got to be crazy. That's why you got to be a junkie. Like your buddy Phil. I'm a self-confessed junkie for the guide because I put a lot of time into studying it. That's why when students give me the namby-pamby excuses, oh, I was traveling, I was on the road, oh, this, oh, that, I just look at them and I laugh. I'm like, you ain't serious, you ain't ready. When you're ready, sign up for the curriculum, hold yourself accountable, study hard, be in the moment, be in the zone, be dogged, rugged, and tough. This is not for namby-pamby folks. This is not for the Mother May I PM. This is for someone who knows. This is like a project. I put money in it. I've got a start date. I've got an end date. I need to initiate the process. I need to plan it. And then I need to execute. And a lot of people have trouble in the executing. They're weak. They've got no plan. They don't hold themselves accountable. They feel like sleeping, they sleep. They wake up, they forget they promised to study, they keep going. 3 days later, oh, I'm meant to be taking an exam called the PMP. Oh, okay. Let me open. Before you know it, they've gone again. Don't you know those folks? Don't be like that, folks. Don't be like that. This is my plan. This is what I want for you to do. Sign up, hold yourself accountable, go crazy on the material, eat it up, hit the pause button as many times as you need to, use the ITTO catalog, take feverish notes, take notes, take notes, take notes, go over your notes. Then I would like you to create for yourself PM stories. A PM story is a story about you and your project management that maps back to the PMBOK guide process. So all the 49 processes, I want you to create a PM story for yourself as you go through the content. Your PM story would be an encounter. I spoke about this yesterday. Go listen to the live stream from yesterday. And then ultimately, I want you to take that 1 hour mock exam at the end. It's all right if you fail it, take it again, take it again, take it again. I want you to get good. I want you to kill the exam. And I want you to help other folks who need to get this done. I don't care whether you train them, whether you send them to your buddy Phil, whether you create a YouTube channel where you are sharing similar information. That's what I want you to do. There are not enough people doing this sincerely and passionately. There are lots of people doing it for the buck. But hey, I want you to do it because you remember, hey, that's a crazy guy called Phil that helped me pass the exam. Let me help someone else. That's what I want you to do. I want you to help people. And hey, your company, your organization that is currently at a 1 on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being chaos and free for all, I want you to help your organization go from a 1 to a 5, go from chaos and disorder to being standardized and to being in that place where they can improve, sustained and improve. That's where I want your organization to go. I don't want you to be dabbling around in level 1, free for all, chaos, and then level 2. I don't want you dabbling in those levels for too long. I want you to get to standardize, but only you can help your organization by first of all mastering the guide, mastering the content, mastering the essence of the PMBOK guide. I don't want you to be a microwaved PMP. Too many people get the book, they go through it, they pretend to be sincere, they get certified, and boom, they forget about all they studied. They go back to their bad ways in the real world, managing projects ad hoc. No, I want you to go through the process, let it stick, help people, help your firm, and add value. This is what it's all about. The bottom line is adding value. Okay, so this curriculum is designed to get you to the point where you can not just pass the exam, get you to the point where you are good for the test and beyond, where you are beginning to add value, where you understand why, in a group setting where people are discussing problems, why you should use an Ishikawa, why you should use an affinity diagram. It's a no-brainer, but you have to live through the content. You have to create those PM stories. You have to make it real to yourself. And then when you do, not only will you get certified, but it will stick, and it will stick really good. All right, so that's pretty much all I have to say. Go sign up. I've made it affordable. I've made it fun for the most part so that it's not too dry. And I've also made available those PDFs, the ITTO catalog and the input-output catalog. All right, so I want to encourage you, sign up, hold yourself accountable. I don't want you to be like that student that said, Phil, I wish my trainer had told me, or I wish I had signed up for the program. I don't want you to be a wishing and a hoping. I want you to do the do. I want you to go do it. Sign up and let's kill this thing together. That's really where I want you to be at. All right? I want you to be rugged, dogged, tough, aggressive on the content. I don't want you to be like those zombie studiers, if that's a word, a zombie studier. It's easy to study like a zombie, cramming blindly. Lots of folks cramming. It's not the cramming. It ain't gonna help you. On the CAPM exam, it may marginally help you to memorize because a lot of it is based on the PMBOK guide. In fact, all of it is based on the PMBOK guide. Let me just tell it like it is. Hey, if you're taking the CAPM exam, it is PMBOK for PMBOK, okay? But not so for the PMP. For the PMP, cramming blindly isn't going to help you. It's not about cramming blindly. It's about you really understanding, and this curriculum will help you do just that. All right. Well, that's all I have for tonight. Hey, if you have questions, now's the time to chat them in so we don't have to have another song from our friend here. You got questions? Chat them in. I'm waiting for your questions. Anything regarding the PMP exam that you are confused about, that you need clarity on, I will be more than happy to jump in and answer your questions right now so that you know where you're going, so that you know the postcode, like the postcode I'm showing on the screen, the process group postcode. You know your process group postcode? I hope you do. The 224.10.12.1. I hope you know that. That's my job, trying to tell you how to get to your destination. So chat in, chat in, chat in, chat in. Some of you have been asking, Phil, we haven't seen much of you lately. Well, now your buddy Phil's here live to help you do a SWOT, to help you understand your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats, so that we can capitalize on your strength. Some people say, Phil, I'm so good at watching a video and getting every bit of it. Sign up. Some people say, Phil, I'm weak in this area, or I'm weak in ITTOs. Sign up. Some people say, Phil, I feel threatened when it comes to risk. Risk is an area we covered in great detail. Risk appetite, risk threshold, risk averse, risk seeking, secondary risk, residual risk, business risk, pure risk, and all that jazz. It's covered. Sign up. A chat came in from my friend here. Santosh says, what do you think of program management? Program management is definitely a way of life for people who know what programs are. In any organization, I'll be shocked if they're not programs in existence. You see, the problem is a lot of people don't know that what they're doing is a program. I get some people who say, Phil, I'm managing lots of projects and they are related, but my firm does not confer on me the title of program manager. I'm like, do you need to wait for them to confer the title on you? You are a program manager. What are you talking about? You're managing interrelated projects that affect the bottom line, that share resources, that share clients. Of course, you're a program manager. You know, I was a program manager in a well known aerospace firm doing IT effectiveness programs. And what I began to realize is that these so called program components could be so diverse and disjointed. Part of the program ended up being operational work towards the end. But towards the end of the program, it went into operational type stuff. But your program is really a collection of those projects, you know, those sub programs, if your firm is given to using the term sub programs, and other work like operational work. And you, as the program manager, you need to be tightly coordinating all the moving parts. You know, it's not rocket science. A lot of firms do this. You know, our friends at the well-known companies that create the two phones that are in front of me here. I'm sure you know what phone that one is. Or Mr. Cook's cohorts. They all do program management. They may not call it that in every single firm, but you can be rest assured they are doing programs. Look around you. There's program management everywhere. So I tell PMPs, people who are now certified, I'm like, are you sure you're not a program manager? Because if you are, you need to be speaking to another of my buddies. You need to be speaking to Ginger. If you've not heard of Dr. Ginger Levin, you need to go to Google and Google her really quick. One of the first PGMPs in the world. You know, go type her name in. One of the first people. You know, I'm not sure what number her PGMP is, but she's one of the first who ended up jumping on the bandwagon to get certified. So go check her out. And she's got a fantastic curriculum for people who want to get certified. Hey, you know, the PGMP exam is changing. Ginger has got a fantastic course online that has helped people get PGMP certified. So if you want to know more about the PGMP and how to hook up into that course with Ginger, shoot me an email. Santosh, if you are keen on knowing more about that, shoot me an email to support@praizion.com. and I'll get you information from Ginger, link you up with her so that you can look into her program management professional course online. It's a great course, and she's a powerhouse. Powerhouse. Trust me, when I tell you someone's a powerhouse, you better believe it. Ginger is a powerhouse of knowledge, not just on program management, but several other fields, benefits management, change management. So if you want to go deeper into the world of programs, let me link you up with Ginger, okay? Any other questions, folks, before I jump ship? Questions, comments, concerns about your PMP exam or your PMP life? Awesome, Santosh. Send me that email to support@Praizion, and I'll connect you with Dr. Ginger Levin. She likes being called Ginger, very humble. Doesn't want me to throw in the doctor title. She gets mad when I do that. So send it to support, SUPPORT @Praizion. Support@Praizion.com. All right. Send it there, and I'll be more than happy to connect you with her. Like I said, she's a powerhouse of information. Seriously. Keeping up with Ginger is tough. You got to be smart to keep up with her. Trust me. All right, folks. Well, it's been great speaking to you. I wish you all the very best in your PMP journey, whether you are going to get certified today, tomorrow. Hey, people are taking the exam today. They may be watching. So, I'm not sure when you're going to pull the trigger and get certified, but whenever you decide to do it, I wish you all the very best. And I'm hoping you're going to bring it. You're going to hit it hard one time. One time, folks. I don't want you doing that ad nauseum thing. I had a student who took the exam 7 times before finally deciding he was going to kill it. I think I met him on his 6th try. And on the 7th try, he was able to kill it. And he'd been taking it for a span of a decade. Don't do that. That's why you need to sign up for the course. leadershipavenue.com. You do know, I hope you do, that the PMI have focused heavily on leadership. So when I say Leadership Avenue, it's for a reason, because of Chapter 3. Hey, Chapter 3 in this book is all about that leadership thing. Leadership versus management, vision casting, laissez-faire approaches to managing or leading, servant leadership, all that great stuff. My mentor, John C. Maxwell, he says, the true measure of leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. The true measure of greatness in the world of project management is influence, folks. If you are not able to influence the team without authority, you're not able to influence your stakeholders, you ain't leading. And if you're beating people over the head with a stick because you're in a project-oriented firm, don't even let's go there. Hopefully that's not your style. Hopefully you're not using punishment or coercive power. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Great speaking to you. I wish you all the best. Let's kill it. And I'll see you again soon in another of these live streams. Have a wonderful rest of your night, rest of your day. Keep it real. Bye for now.